You're listening to Around the Fire, an overland and off-road podcast brought to you by Northeast Adventure Company, New England's premier overland guide service. Driven by our passion for discovery, join us as we go to new heights in search of adventure. Welcome to Around the Fire, an overland and off-road podcast brought to you by Northeast Adventure Company, New England's premier overland guide service. I'm Darin. With me I have Chris and AJ. We're going to talk a little bit about getting into the new season, how do we prep for the season, and then just how you kind of keep yourself ready and your rig ready for trips. Thank you again for joining us. If you've been tagging along with the rest of the episodes, thank you for watching. So the weather's getting a little bit warmer. We're getting ready, getting close to that first trip of the season in May. We're going to be doing a nice start off the season with a Canada trip, so that'll be pretty good. Nice 5-day trip, but that is one of the longer trips that we do. So it's good to kind of start the season ready, know your gear, know your rig, and just be well prepped for it. So with that said, how do you guys kind of get ready for the season? What do you do to be more prepared for the upcoming trips? AJ, what do you do?
Well, I mean, definitely go through all the fluids in the vehicle. You know, fresh oil change is good to have. Transmission fluid, diff fluids, transfer case. People forget about that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at your tires. Make sure they're not dry rotted. That's a good step.
Kind of your more in-depth vehicle 360. What do you call it, or?
Yeah, it's maintenance. Pretty much everybody understands that, I think. What else? Check suspension. I mean, make sure you don't have any broken shocks, that kind of stuff. Broken springs, coil springs, cracked leaf springs. That's
That could be fun. Yeah, so I like to I just started it with even just basic stuff like sliders, like go through and make sure that yours are welded on, mine bolt on, so I'd take them off the truck, kind of fluid film that section of frame between the slider and the frame, and make sure none of it gets rotted out so that I know they're going to be strong and sturdy. Check the bolts, make sure none of them are broken, even though half of them are broken off in the frame already. So,
Good stuff.
Every year I seem to have less and less bolts holding the sliders on. But
so eventually they're just going to be welded on anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, but okay. I'm just waiting for the moment till they break and I can go, hey, AJ, can we weld these onto the truck?
Turn them on.
Yeah. But
belts, hoses,
yep,
would be a good thing to check. If you got a check engine light, you might want to look into that, make sure it's nothing too critical.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really just about like getting eyes on your vehicle, making sure that everything's kind of good to go, and that leads in. We had a couple questions about like how do you make sure that you're ready for trail repair? Like what do you do about that? And it's really just the keeping your eyes on your rig and tracking things as they happen. If you hear a weird noise after a trip, like run it down so you're not breaking something farther down. But Chris, you ready for the new season?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be good. Like I said, for us, a lot of the prep is based upon just kind of like now having a little guy that requires his own set of everything. So I think we have to just be a little bit more, uber critical about the things that we end up bringing, because space is, it's a thing, and it gets used fairly quickly. So we'll be changing up our setup a little bit this year, just based upon that, just because I got to try to contain this little guy now. But for the most part, like I said, I like to be able to kind of do a once over on the early portion of the season before we get started. Really, I think the biggest thing is just organization. So making sure that you have everything at the ready whenever you need it. Recovery gear obviously is a big one, but just as something as simple as being able to go and look for something and find it when you need it, especially if it's in a critical time frame, then that's good. Fire extinguishers, things like that. So I think the once over just to be able to kind of have a checklist. We do have a checklist out there somewhere kicking around. We can get to people and send that out just so you kind of have a quick once over. Hey, do I have this stuff and is it readily available to me?
Yeah, our trip requirements on the website.
Yeah, we could use that too. But I know I have a nice PDF file or something like that I can kind of see if I can get worked up. But yeah, for the most part, like I said, we've done some good prep thus far just to get things. I got some drawer systems coming, it sounds like, so I'm going to be pretty happy with those to be able to kind of move away from my homemade build that
falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, they worked, but
sitting over there
it literally just... Oh, that's another one.
Nice.
That was for the FJ. But for the most part, it's, like, again, having those things... all year, for us, it's a big deal because we end up having, to have a lot of charging...
Oh, yeah.
Stuff to be able to run the cameras and all that stuff. So if that's not, your forte, no big deal. But at the same time,
it's kind of different for everybody. Of like the rig, getting your rig ready is probably more or less all the same boxes you need to hit for everyone.
Yeah.
But then, like getting yourself prepped for the season is different. Like AJ's setup and his 4Runner is totally different than what I run. So like you have no back seats, no nothing. I don't really have the back seats in there anymore, but like I run everything out of like toolboxes and stuff. You're talking about drawers, so it's really just making sure that like I like to pull everything out before the first trip, like just empty the truck out. Yeah. Chris, maybe not so much, but I empty the truck out and just kind of make sure like, okay, I like to keep a couple pairs of gloves in the truck. Okay, those are in the truck at all times. This is where they're at, and just kind of reorganize it. Yeah. That way, if you're getting out during a trip, you're not digging through your stuff in your boxes going, crap, where's that one thing that I needed? You just kind of know.
Yeah, I think it's efficient.
Keep a nice layout. Yeah.
And I think you're allowed to be able to have a much better time if you don't have this over, like this looming, like I don't know where anything is if something were to go wrong. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to camp, being able to just, get set up quickly and just be able to, enjoy it, but, still have yourself a good time with being able to know where everything is and then get that, I guess set up and then ready to go so we can hang out by the fire and talk about the day's activities. So
yeah, because I've definitely had a couple trips where I'm like packing very last minute, and I know most of what I need is like in the boxes are already in the truck, so I just pile it in, and then you get to camp and by the time everybody is sitting around the fire and ready to be done, you're like just setting up camp and getting done eating because
finding all your stuff.
Yeah, because you just don't know.
Yeah. So I'm doing kind of a combination between drawers and boxes this year, so it'll be cool to see how it works out. I always just did cases before, but everything you need is either on the bottom of the case or it's the last case in the pile. Yeah. So I'm going to try the drawer for like the daily camping use stuff, and then tools, spare parts will be in cases. So I think it'll be easier to keep it tight and keep the rattles to a minimum. Oh, hell yeah. I'm learning rattles is a thing with SUVs. I didn't have that experience with the pickup before. So, yeah.
Well, and you were able to make it super usable in the back of the 4Runner too by just making it like one flat area.
So I can always change out the drawer system and fridge.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah, because who was that? Pete helped you out with that?
Yep, Machete Pete.
Machete Pete, yeah.
It's very nice.
The XJ. Yeah, so it's kind of the same for everybody, like rig-wise, get everything checked off, make sure your fluids are ready, your truck's not making any sounds it shouldn't make. Weird noises. Or that you're not used to or whatever.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, add that in.
Yeah, no new noises, because my 4Runner makes a few noises, but I know what they are, so it's fine for now. I say that. There's nothing.
Literally. Well, I'm bringing spare bolts this year, so we're good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's another way to stay prepped is like if if you drive something that you like to snap the CVs on, like maybe have a couple extra CVs.
Yeah.
Or
we're gonna have a couple of those.
Like just like your standard bolts that you get used in a lot of like the suspension parts and stuff. Go to your local like shop and have them order a few in and just keep them in the truck.
Cheap security.
Yeah, it's super easy stuff to just keep that trail repair to a minimum. Like we had a few people say that they were worried about breaking things on the trail. What do I do? It's like if you just take that extra step earlier in the season, it saves you a lot more time, a lot more headache, a lot less headache, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good getting into the new season. You know, it's a nice time to try new gear out. And
I'm excited.
I've got a few new things that I'm pretty pumped to use this season. Like one of those little. It's not the fancy one, the OT gear that Mason has, but it's the UCO company. They have like the little spoons and stuff that they make, but they also make one of those little pop-up fire pits, like little grill pits.
Nice.
So I got one of those. I'm gonna bring that out. Marissa, my girlfriend, just bought me some recovery boards, so bump those overland points up by like tenfold.
Really
No, I got you beat on the overland points. I have a fridge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's nice.
the fridge is a big deal.
Yeah, the fridge. I'll be rocking a cooler again this year for now.
Well,
Which there's nothing wrong with that. We'll actually be talking about that in a future episode. Fridge, cooler. What's best for you? What's best for everybody?
Yeah, it
Use
works.
both. Use none of it. But
Guy Marie's.
yeah. Oh yeah. You just go dry goods all the time. Yeah.
Just a can. Can and a can
canned
opener. We're good.
beans,
Yeah. There you go.
Freaking bread and PB&J.
Oof.
Nothing
Beautiful.
beats that. We did have a couple other questions that we can dive into since we have a little bit more time. So we kind of, we went over how we prep for the season. What do you do to make sure that you're hitting all those trip requirements and stuff? But some people want to know if their rig is even can they bring their rig on the trip? So we have multiple trips that accommodate different levels of rigs. So we've had Turkey Trek last year. We had everything from
Crew
full
Cab
size,
Tundra,
yeah.
200 series Land Cruisers down to XJs. I mean, it's a pretty wide range for a 3 and 4 out of 5 trip. So,
So this question I think was specific on can I wheel my F-150? And you most certainly can. I mean, we've had trucks that are bigger than an F-150 come down through some of the trails. So, but just hit those, as long as you hit those trip requirements, we're usually pretty capable of accommodating everybody. So,
I think we're going to see a lot more of that going forward too, because I think the last year or two, families have really started to get out and explore more. So they need the room, and like I said, I mean, even with just Finn, the amount of stuff is just almost sometimes overwhelming. So it's like, hey, I'll take an F-150, no problem. Like, give me all that space. So it's kind of nice to be able to know that that's probably something that's up and coming. And we have the capabilities to be able to get people through quite a bit. So that's again why it's nice to be able to have an overlanding service like us to be able to take out. You kind of have the opportunity to
build that confidence.
Yeah, and just have somebody there to be able to help you through those times when you might not feel as confident. So and again, I think that just comes with the typical, hey, listen, like we were camping before, but now we want to expand a little bit, do a little bit more with the off-roading stuff. And I think that's the whole overlanding portion of this that I see a lot of people have ventured towards. So for us, it's exciting to see that. We don't have trails that have massive amounts of space most of the time, like they do out west. So an F-150 out west is, it's a matchbox. So out here, you definitely have to change your driving style a little bit. Probably does make you a little bit better driver too, in that instance. But yeah, I think.
And you got to be more comfortable with pinstriping.
Pinstriping is a thing in the Northeast. That's big time. So, but that's part of it. Again, it's getting these trucks that you don't normally see kind of out and about on New England trails and making them successful. So we're definitely excited. It's not a problem. Bring those trucks out and let's show you guys what you can definitely do with that thing.
Oh yeah.
So.
even the smaller all-wheel drives like RAV4s and Subarus would definitely be welcome at Summit.
Oh yeah.
Because most of the routes are dirt logging roads and stuff like that.
Right.
We will have some stuff going on at the Summit location, but for more difficult.
Yeah, and
roads.
that's a good one for like you said, families. If you don't have the opportunity or the capability really to get your all of your family or everyone that's going to be coming with you into a rooftop tent or any tent, like a ground tent. Summit is one of those that's going to be more accessible for like trailers, or if you have a small camper that you want to drag around. It's a base camp event, so you set up camp and you leave it there, and you can go explore, do whatever you need to do, and come back. So
Yep.
Definitely a good situation to be
and
in over
then
there.
let's see, one final one that we'll get to, the pros and cons of campgrounds versus primitive camping. So we do both really on all trips. So we try to accommodate both types of camping for those that maybe they want to get out and explore some, but they don't want to do the whole time out in the woods, self-reliant, no utilities or like services or whatever, bathrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we tend to do kind of like a one night at a campground, one night out in the wilderness.
Dually wax. Yeah, no, I think it it lends itself to being that at first initial night is most of the time when we do the campground. For a lot of people, they are traveling a distance, so to get there and not have to worry about like having to set up like even just a simple toilet type of situation, that that can be nice to be able to just have that already set up, and it's a very quick setup, so for them it's it's much easier. So but then they still get that added benefit of having a little bit of that primitive camping in there the next couple nights or so. And then, again, on the longer trips, we've definitely been in a position where we've brought people to like a campground where they had like showers and stuff like that. I know Canada, we did that last year. And again, it just makes it just a more enjoyable experience for people. Not everybody wants full primitive, not everybody wants full campground with all the amenities, but if you kind of, speckle the two in there, it you kind of can get a taste of what you may or may not like as well, which again, a portion of this is being able to go out and kind of do this stuff on your own sometimes too. So, if you like that, the campground kind of set up, base camp, go out, explore the area, then that's sweet. You have those, again, opportunities. If you like the more primitive, then there's plenty of people around that can be able to help you with that, just to be able to have whatever, look at their setups, ask questions, don't be afraid. I mean, the Discord has been awesome for that, so
Yeah, it has.
I'm pretty psyched to have that, but that gives you a lot of opportunity to get the answers that you want quickly, fast, and again, we're not the only people that have done this for umpteen years, so there's plenty of people that have done it that will provide a lot of different insights to maybe something that's better than what we've done too, which is cool. So
What about you, AJ? What do you like most? Are you a campground guy or a out in the woods guy?
I definitely prefer the primitive camps, but definitely on the 3, 4, 5, 6 day trips, like stopping at a campground or even an Airbnb or something like that isn't the end of the world. I think for families especially, it's just nice to have that break, some running water, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is nice to be able to break it up. And there's nothing wrong, even if you're just going out on your own. Like, if you need a guaranteed spot that you can go camp at, campgrounds are perfect because you can book a site so you know that you're going to have a spot to go to. Some of these more primitive sites are first come, first serve.
Yep,
so,
definitely.
like, we've had trips where we're going to be in a primitive site, and so we send a staff member up ahead of time to try to get there ahead of time, set up so that we know we're going to have somewhere to bring everybody. But if you're worried about finding something, or it's like that took longer to get through the trail than I thought, that's fine. We're going to have a campsite that we're going to get to, so we know we're going to have somewhere to camp tonight, compared to going out there and long day on the trail, and then you get there and turns out someone's already at the spot that you wanted to go to. So
yeah,
all right, let's turn around, find another spot, go find a parking lot or something to sleep in for the night. But
Well, that's a good point. If you are going out on your own and looking for first come first serve primitive spots, like have a couple backups in your mind or planned out, or in your Gaia saved. So when you have no service and it's like, shucks, somebody stole my spot, or that's where I was planning on going, have another backup not too far away, so you've got options for when that happens.
Yeah,
it is going to happen.
Oh,
I mean, I've
it
gone
is.
places where yeah, it's on the map that there's a campsite there, but it's blocked off or closed out, and you got to go somewhere else. So,
Sure.
I mean, there's been times I've gone to 4 or 5 different ones. You got to have that, layers,
Contingency plans.
layers
The
of
influx
redundancy.
of people that are now in the woods in the last couple of years is
Oh, yeah.
amazing. I mean, it's probably, I don't know, tenfold, I'd say. Just because, again, I think it's, it's something that people want to get out and explore and do a little bit more. So that's that takes those places sometimes, and it kind of turns that plan on its head. So definitely be cognizant that you have to have some backup plan of some sort.
Oh yeah, and it helps with the with getting out there, because it gets you kind of out to more places and stuff, so you have those backups. Maybe you didn't use it for this trip. Well, cool. Next time I run out through these trails, I'll start at this spot, and then if that doesn't work out, at least I know the other one that is good.
Sure.
Right.
But yeah, we like to run a mix of both. Like you were saying, on the longer trips, it's super nice to have a campground to go to. Like, you're gonna have that nice flat ground, nice communal area to have a fire or whatever, a bathroom to
Little
use.
space sometimes.
Yeah,
I know we've
space to be able to
definitely,
spread out. Yeah.
Put a few rigs in a small space.
Yeah.
Especially like the bigger events, you have to have some kind of porta potties or something like
Oh,
that
yeah.
for a
Right.
bathroom. You don't want 35 rigs worth of people.
Going out in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think
It's
that
a little
pushes
much.
towards
Yeah.
the tread lightly portion of it too, right?
Definitely,
Just recognizing that we,
Pack it out.
yeah, I mean, you can't alter the environment that much. So, there are times when it's like, hey, what are we doing? Or do we have an opportunity to actually, have something like a porta potty or
Yep.
something that's going to just better the overall experience. And
Make it more comfortable for everybody.
yeah, and I think again, it's not everybody's all about, hey, listen, let's go camping with a porta potty, but again, there's a time and a place for everything. So I think the summit is just a prime example. I mean, we've got a ton of people that show up for that. So that just takes, again, sometimes it's just checking off that box for you, that you don't even have to worry about packing that.
Right.
So a facility or something like that, where you end up having to usually end up having to bring a 5-gallon bucket, which is never easy to break down, never easy to find a place for those things, or something of that nature. Then again, taking that completely out of the equation is kind of nice too. So facilities are not necessarily a bad thing.
So, I think that's all we had for questions that we came in for this one. That really wraps it up. That's kind of the short and sweet of how we get ready for the season. It's always super exciting. Like, you get out there and you got all this new gear that you accumulated. You maybe got a new setup that you're ready for, but really taking that last overlook, that the kind of in-depth, step-by-step, get hands on everything, just really makes the season go a lot smoother. So,
And I think trying it out beforehand too. I mean, nobody, is. I'm definitely not afraid of trying something out here at the house or
Yeah.
close, local.
use it out in the yard or
Just
whatever.
to try to see if it works for you, because you'll know. I mean, it's much easier to walk back inside and grab something and add it to your kit,
Very true.
versus being able in the woods being like, oh yeah, I forgot that, whatever.
That tent stake.
Yeah, or the abilities to blow up an air mattress or
Yeah.
something. Like, okay, get to getting.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow. So I know we've seen. I definitely have seen a person do that before, and it was like, wow. Okay, I guess we're all gonna take turns. So yeah, right. That's a big deal. So like I said, it's something simple as just doing the proper setup in your front lawn or local or something will help
Yeah.
you.
And it helps you know that you have all the parts.
Yeah,
I mean, I would hate to be out in the field setting up a tent for the first time and realize that they didn't include the tent stakes or
Sure.
something like that.
yeah,
But-
that'd be good.
Well, thank you guys all again for joining us. This one was a pretty quick and painless one, so it's a nice topic to talk about, kind of getting ready into the season. Let us know down below, or tag us on your social media how you guys kind of get ready for the season. Some of the new gear that maybe you've gotten over the winter.
I like buying new gear, so let me.
Yeah.
know.
Oh, any excuse to
Yeah,
get new gear is
I'll
a
try
good
it out
excuse.
for you if you want. It's no problem.
But thank you guys for joining us again. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that,
ring,
hit the bell, ring that bell, notification bell. We'll catch you guys next time on Around the Fire.
Cheers.
See ya.